Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we shall learn some of the important inequalities which we will be using in complex analysis and further study. So, the inequalities, in that first one, for any complex number A, we observe that real part of A is less than or equal to modulus of A, and similarly imaginary part of A is less than or equal to modulus of A. So we can prove this very easily. So start with a arbitrary complex number A. Let A be any complex number. So A is a complex number means it will be of the form x plus iy, or you can take any variables, say alpha plus I beta. So this be any complex number. So A is a complex number of the form alpha plus I beta means then alpha is the real part of A and beta is the imaginary part of A. Now, so to prove this inequality, I start with the real part of A. So consider alpha square, and on the other side, so I need modulus of A. So for that, I'll consider alpha plus beta square. Now, you can see both are non-negative. Alpha square is also non-negative. Alpha square plus beta square is also non-negative. So for alpha square, I'm adding once more non-negative quantity. So alpha square will be less than or equal to alpha square plus beta square. Now further, as these two are non-negative real numbers, I can consider their square roots, whose square roots will also be again real numbers, so inequality remains the same. So taking square root on both sides. So as I need on the right hand side modulus, so just I'll consider the positive square root. So first of all, these two are non-negative real number, right? So for any non-negative real number x, so first of all, square root of x exists, and it is also a real number. It is also a real number. As I'm comparing here, so you have to make sure that square roots are also real numbers. So alpha square and alpha square plus beta square are non-negative real numbers. So hence their square roots exist. Hence their square root exists. Among those square roots, you know that square root of x has two values, plus value and minus value. Plus of the value and minus of the value. Plus value is called the positive square root of x, and minus negative value is called the negative value of the square root. So here just I'll consider only the positive square root. Positive square root. Now square root of alpha square is actually plus or minus alpha. Plus or minus alpha. So here only I will consider positive value of the square root. So positive value of the square root is alpha. So taking positive square root on both the sides. So taking positive square root on alpha square, you will get alpha, so which is less than or equal to, so positive square root of alpha square plus beta square. Alpha square plus beta square. And this is nothing but it is modulus of A. As A is alpha plus I beta, square root of alpha square plus beta square is modulus of A. And here, so I have taken the positive square root of alpha square. So I don't know the value of alpha. Alpha could be negative or alpha would be non-negative. Alpha could be non-negative. So in any case, so I need to consider only the positive value of the square root alpha square. So positive value will be nothing but the absolute value of alpha. For example, suppose A is -2 plus I3, suppose. Then in this case alpha is -2, beta is 3. So if I consider such an inequality, then -2 whole square and -2 whole square plus 3 square. So I can clearly observe here, this is 4 and this is 13. So it is less than or equal to, I can write. So that is nothing but 4 is less than or equal to 13. Now taking positive square root on both sides. That means, so just have to consider positive square root on both sides. So positive square root of 4 is 2, because positive square root of 4 is plus or minus 2. So positive plus 2 is called positive square root of 4, minus 2 is called negative square root of 4. So here just I am considering only the positive square root. So positive square root of 4 is 2 and positive square root of 13. That is positive value of square root of 13. So 2. So here what is 2 is actually, so alpha is -2. So plus 2 will be actually, it will be nothing but modulus of alpha. And this is nothing but modulus of A. So if alpha is positive, so 2 whole square, so 4. In that case also, once again I will be considering only positive square root 2. So which is nothing but alpha, and alpha, as alpha is non-negative, so 2 itself is the modulus value of alpha. So in any case, either alpha is negative or non-negative, so positive square root of alpha square is always the absolute value of alpha. So this will be absolute value of alpha. So that is nothing but, so modulus of alpha is less than or equal to modulus of A. And you know that for any real number, its absolute value is always greater than or equal to its real value. So therefore, so alpha is nothing but real part of A. So real part of A is less than or equal to modulus of A. And moreover, absolute value of real part of A is less than or equal to modulus of A. Also by this inequality, absolute value of real part of A is less than or equal to modulus of A. Now similarly we can prove the other way. Similarly, so as we started with alpha square, so to get this inequality, real part of A. Now to get this, imaginary part of A is beta, so start with beta square. So beta square, and on the right hand side modulus of alpha. So once again alpha square plus beta square, and we can see beta square is less than or equal to alpha square plus beta square. Once again taking positive square root on both sides. So positive square root of beta square is absolute value of beta. So as I have explained here, the same thing. So positive square root of beta square is absolute value of beta, which is less than or equal to positive square root of alpha square plus beta square is modulus of A by the definition. So that is nothing but modulus of beta is less than or equal to modulus of A, but modulus of beta is greater than or equal to beta. So therefore beta is nothing but imaginary part of A. So imaginary part of A is less than or equal to modulus of A. And moreover, absolute value of imaginary part of A is less than or equal to modulus of A. So this is the first inequality. The first inequality is for any complex number A, real part of A is less than or equal to modulus of A, and imaginary part of A is less than or equal to modulus of. The second inequality, for any two complex numbers A and B, modulus of A plus B, modulus of A plus B is less than or equal to modulus of A plus modulus of B. So once again, proof is very simple. Let A and B be any two complex numbers. Now consider, so now I have to prove that modulus of A plus B is less than or equal to modulus of A plus modulus of B. So if I start with modulus of A plus B, so expanding it is very difficult. So I'll consider its square. So modulus of A plus B whole square. So we know that modulus of A plus B whole square is modulus of A whole square plus modulus of B whole square plus 2 into real part of A into B bar, which we have proved in the previous video. Now this is less than or equal to, because this is a complex number A into B bar. So just now we have proved that real part of any complex number. So for if Z, if I take Z, so real part of Z is less than or equal to modulus of Z. Just now we have proved. So if I use that, so real part of A into B bar will be less than or equal to absolute value of that complex number, and rest of the things as it is. So just this term is less than or equal to this term. This is because real part of a complex number is always less than or equal to its absolute value. Real part of A into B bar is less than or equal to its absolute value. Now this step is equal to modulus of A whole square plus modulus of B whole square plus 2 into modulus of A into B bar is there, so I can split it as modulus of A into modulus of B bar, and modulus of B bar is modulus of B, you know that. Now see this, so it is of the form A square plus B square plus 2 into A into B. So it is nothing but A plus B whole square, A plus B whole square. So that is what we have. Modulus of A plus B whole square is less than or equal to modulus of A plus modulus of B whole square. Now once again, take positive square root on both sides. Take positive square root on both sides. Taking positive square root on both sides. We get. So square root of modulus of A plus B whole square is modulus of A plus B, which is less than or equal to here. Square root of modulus of A plus modulus of B whole square is modulus of A plus modulus of, so which is the required result. Now we can generalize it. So more generally, if A1, A2, AN are complex numbers are complex numbers, then modulus of a1 plus a2 plus so on plus an is always less than or equal to modulus of a1 plus modulus of a2 plus so on modulus of a. So we can prove this by repeated usage of the above result. So here modulus of a1 plus a2 plus so on an is there. So what we will do is, so we will group all these numbers. Then it is of the form modulus of a plus b. It will be modulus of a plus modulus of b. So modulus of b means it is modulus of a2 plus a3 so on an. Once again in that we will keep a2 as it is and we'll group the remaining complex numbers. Once again we'll apply this. So by repeated usage of the above result, we'll get this. Otherwise, as they are n in number, where n is a natural number, so wherever the natural number comes, so we can apply mathematical induction. So using mathematical induction also, we can prove this. So the steps are, so for n is equal to 2, we have to prove, and which is already proved. So you have to assume for n minus 1 and you have to prove for n. And assume for n minus 1 and while proving n, so just we will use the case n is equal to 2. So for, you can use any one of the method, either repeatedly using this or using mathematical induction. We will get this. The third inequality, for any real number a and for a positive epsilon value, modulus of a is less than epsilon. We say that absolute value is less than epsilon if and only if a lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. So it is an if and only if condition. It has two parts. That is, if modulus of a is less than epsilon, then a lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. And conversely, if a lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon, modulus of a is less than epsilon. So we have the direct part and the converse part. So in the direct part, and the common hypothesis here is, let a be any real number and epsilon be any positive value. And here choosing epsilon to be positive is necessary because if epsilon is less than or equal to 0, then modulus of a will be less than 0, and which is impossible. Modulus absolute value cannot be negative. It is always greater than or equal to 0. So epsilon has to be positive here. Now the direct part, in the direct part we have to assume, that is, if modulus of a is less than epsilon, then we have to prove a lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. So we know that modulus of a. So what is modulus of a? So modulus of a is defined to be a itself if a is non-negative, and it is defined to be minus a if a is negative. If a is negative. For example, modulus of 2 is defined to be itself as 2 is non-negative, whereas minus 2, modulus of minus 2 is defined to be minus of minus 2, which is positive. That means whatever the value you give for the modulus function, it converts it into positive value. Now, based on the value of modulus, we have to prove a lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. So as there are two possibilities, we have to discuss both the cases. So case 1, if modulus of a is a. So that is, if a is non-negative. If a is non-negative. So now in this case, then as A is nothing but modulus of A, and modulus of A is given to be less than epsilon. That is, A is less than epsilon. So which implies as A is less than epsilon, minus A will be greater than minus epsilon. Now combine both the inequalities. I'll start with minus epsilon. So therefore minus epsilon. Minus epsilon is less than minus A. And as A is non-negative, minus A will be less than or equal to A, and which is less than epsilon. So that is, A lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. This is in the case modulus of A is equal to A. The other case, case 2, if modulus of A is minus A, that is the case if A is negative. If A is negative. In this case, then minus A is nothing but modulus of A, and modulus of A is given to be less than epsilon. So that is, minus A will be less than epsilon. But then taking negative sign on both sides, plus A will be greater than minus epsilon. So therefore, so if I start with minus epsilon is less than A, and as A is negative, minus A will be less than minus A, because as A is negative, minus A will be positive. Positive value is always greater than the negative. So it is less than epsilon. That is what we got is A once again lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. So which proves the direct part. Now conversely, assume A lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. So then to prove, so what we have to prove here? We have to prove modulus of A is less than epsilon. So we know that once again modulus value has two values. Modulus of A has two values. It is A if A is non-negative. It is minus A if A is negative. So once again, in both the cases, we have to prove this inequality holds. This inequality holds. Now, once again, case 1. Case 1, if A is non-negative. A is non-negative. Then in that case, modulus of A is nothing but A, and A is already less than epsilon. So that is, modulus of A will be less than epsilon. So in this case, now if A is negative, case 2, if A is negative, then so in the case A is negative, modulus of A is minus A. So we have minus epsilon is less than A. So minus A will be less than plus epsilon. A, just multiply minus on both sides. So plus epsilon will be greater than minus A, or minus A is less than plus epsilon. So once again, modulus of A is less than epsilon value. So thus we get the required result. So modulus of A is less than epsilon if and only if A lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. Next inequality, for any two complex numbers a and b, modulus of a minus modulus of b is less than or equal to modulus of a minus b. Now we have to prove this result for any pair of complex numbers. If at all a is equal to b, if a is equal to b, then the result is trivial. Because if a is equal to b, modulus of a will be equal to modulus of b, so its difference is 0, modulus of 0 is 0. And as a is equal to b, a minus b will be 0, modulus of 0 is 0. So 0 will be equal to 0. So equality holds. So either this has to be less than this or both has to be equal. So if a is equal to b, this will also be 0, this will be 0. So that means both quantities will be equal. So the result is trivial. So assume a is not equal to b. Then modulus of a minus b will be positive. Now it is of the form, so modulus of a minus modulus of b is a real number. So if I take it as a for if, so then what I have to prove? Modulus of a is less than or equal to, so it is a positive value. So if I take it as epsilon, so now we have to prove modulus of a is less than or equal to epsilon value, so which is similar to the previous one. So just we have proved that, so modulus of a will be less than or equal to epsilon if and only if a lies in between minus epsilon and plus epsilon. Where we have used strict inequality, so you can take less than or equal to also. So the previous inequality, the third inequality, is true for less than or equal to also. So now to prove modulus of a minus modulus of b less than or equal to modulus of a minus b, just you have to prove this value. This value lies in between minus of this value and plus of this value. So now for that we have a can be written as a minus b plus b. Now I will group these two. Now as these two numbers are equal, their absolute value will be equal. So absolute value of a will be equal to absolute value of a minus b plus b. Now you have the form modulus of a plus b. So by the second inequality, it is less than or equal to modulus of a minus b plus modulus of b. So that is, so take this quantity to the left side, modulus of a minus modulus of b is less than or equal to modulus of a minus b. We proved one inequality. So this value is less than or equal to modulus of a minus b. Now we have to prove this is greater than or equal to minus of modulus of a minus b. So for that, what we'll do is changing the roles of a and b, we get. So here a and b represent any two complex numbers. So we started with a and we wrote it as a minus b plus b. So now change the roles of a and b. That means assume a as b and b as a. Then following the same steps, so what we will get? So a will be b, b will be a. Or if you not understand this line, So just as we argued for A, similarly argue for B. So B can be written as B minus A plus A. B minus A plus A. So take modulus on both sides, send the one term to the left hand side. You will get this equation. Now I actually need modulus of A minus modulus of B. So for that, take minus common. Minus of modulus of A minus modulus of B is actually less than or equal to. So here also I need term of this form. So take minus common. So minus of A minus B. Minus of A minus B. So which implies, so minus of modulus of A minus modulus of B is less than or equal to. So modulus of minus A minus B is once again modulus of A minus B, because so minus of A minus B means minus 1 into A minus B. Split the modulus for minus 1 and modulus of A minus B. Modulus of minus 1 is plus 1. So 1 into this is itself. Now this minus is there, so multiply minus on both sides. So in that case, minus modulus of A minus B will be less than or equal to modulus of A minus modulus of B. So call this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. From 1 and 2, what we have? From 1 and 2, modulus of A minus modulus of B is first of all greater than or equal to minus of modulus of A minus B and less than or equal to modulus of A minus B. So what that means? So this real number lies in between this positive value. So minus of modulus of A minus B plus of modulus of A minus B. So from the third inequality which we have proved, so what it means? So absolute value of this real number is actually less than modulus of A minus. So which proves the which is the fourth inequality. One more, the fifth inequality is for any complex number A, real part of A is equal to modulus of A if and only if A is a real number and A is non-negative. A is non-negative. Proof of this is, so in the second condition, so A is real number and A is non-negative is there. In this, you can drop the condition A is a real number, because so if I say A is non-negative, it means that A is a real number, because real numbers are the biggest set of numbers which can be comparable. So the next number system, that is the complex number system, in that number system the numbers cannot be comparable. So if I say A is greater than or equal to 0, it obviously means that A has to be a real number, so it cannot be a complex number. So actually we can drop this, or just I am saying explicitly it is a real number. So no need to write this, obviously, so we can drop this also, so no problem. Now once again it is an if and only if condition. So the common hypothesis is A is any complex number. So in the direct part, we have to assume the real part of A is modulus of A itself. So as A is a complex number, so let A be of the form alpha plus I beta. Then, so what is the real part? So real part is alpha is equal to modulus of A. So it is square root of alpha square plus beta square. Now square it on both sides. So alpha square will be equal to alpha square plus beta square. So alpha square plus beta square is alpha square itself, means beta square will not have any effective value. That means beta square will be 0. It will have null value. So which implies beta is 0 because beta square is 0. So the only number whose square is 0 is 0 itself. So beta will be 0. So beta is 0 means in that case A will be alpha. A will be alpha and alpha is a real part of A. So it will be a real number. It will be a real number. Now moreover alpha, which is real part of A, is modulus of A, and you know that modulus of A is always greater than or equal to 0. So that is alpha is greater than or equal to 0, but alpha is nothing but A. So A is greater than or equal to 0. So assuming real part of A is equal to modulus of A, we got that A is a real number which is non-negative. Now conversely, suppose A is a real number and A is non-negative. A is a real number and A is non-negative. Then we have to prove real part of A is equal to modulus of A. So as A is real number, so A will be equal to its real part. Also, so real part is itself, that is A, and as A is non-negative, so A is nothing but modulus of A. So that is real part of A is nothing but modulus of A. So for any complex number, real part of A is modulus of A if and only if A is a non-negative real number. So in this video, we discussed some of the important inequalities which will be used in complex analysis. Hope you have understood the inequalities and their proofs. So thank you.